Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is Lidya Ferliana. I am from wr.wb class. So today I would like to explain about the journal with the title Improvement of Storytelling Advertisement According to Screenwriting Techniques. It made by Daiki Uehara from Graduation School of Information Science and Engineering, Ritsumeikan University. This journal article is about computer science and intelligence system. With the volume number is 26, issue number is 10, the publication year in 2021, and the pages is start from 33 until 42. So here I have 6 table of contents. The first chapter is introduction. In introduction, the first point, the spread of smartphone greatly increases our opportunities to view advertisement on the internet. Smartphones promote privacy and immerse browsing on advertisement anytime and anywhere without worrying about what others are thinking. In order for the readers to have simulated experiences with the advertisement scenario needs to attract the reader's interest. Advertisements on SNS and other web media have marketing method has been a way attracting attention to get the customers. Empathy using the narrative advertising. Its most prominent feature is that readers of the advertisement feel empathy with products and service through a scenario telling efforts of enterprises who invited them. The second point, the purpose of screenwriting is to write a scenario through which the main character can get the reader's empathy. Advertisement based on scenario attaining empathy from readers are posted on SNS so that it will show the enterprise's efforts in their commercialization. It is expected to get the customer's empathy. The third point, the study focuses the scenarios should use words characteristic to each scene. A lack of words suitable for each scene would prevent readers from getting empathy. So, if enterprises follow the screenwriting techniques, they can write scenarios that can get the reader's empathy even without professional knowledge about the scenario writing. This method enables even enterprises of small business to create advertising documents which get the reader's empathy. This advertisement will contribute to business expansion. So the second chapter is about creating a document to get the reader's empathy. The first point is importance of empathy in market. There is a marketing method called storytelling marketing, which uses narrative advertising to get the sympathy of consumers. Empathy in storytelling marketing is that the consumers get emotionally involved with characters in the advertisement. Storytelling marketing often uses scenarios that tell the story of the enterprise's own hard experiences as the advertising documents. So the second point is enterprises with poor documents knowledge. Most of the enterprises who write narrative advertisement have little or no experience in write scenarios. For enterprises unfamiliar with writing scenarios, it is difficult to come up with a narrative structure specific to a storyline. Actually, to write a scenario for storytelling marketing that appeals to many readers, we need methods satisfying the following two requirements. First, the method should have enterprises to create documents with emotional changes so that the readers can understand their hard experiences. The second, the method should changes enable enterprises themselves to objectively evaluate the completeness of written the documents. And the last, screenwriting techniques. Cinder has systematically organized the many famous Hollywood movies for summarize their scenario creation methods into the book Save the Cat. The screenwriting techniques by the Cinder present the combination of these two patterns. This paper refers to scenario by expert according to the combination these two patterns as a pro scenarios. So, as we can see in the table 1, the pro scenarios will be compliant with one of 10 storylines. The 10 storylines are shown in Table 1. The left column specifies the name of the storyline, and the content of each story is written in the right column. So, in the Table 2, the structure of many famous Hollywood movies has turned out that the characters' experience are expressed by 15 scenes. The Table 2 shows the development of the 15 scenes. The first column shows the name of the 15 scenes, while each of them is explained in the second. All scenarios exemplify in the screenwriting techniques use this scene development to represent scenes and their development. All storylines adopt the development of 15 scenes. However, the contents to be stated in the scenes varies with each storyline. Therefore, the scenes developments applicable to all storylines are too abstract for enterprisers to use as a reference for writing scenarios. So the next chapter is about improvement of enterpriser scenario. So the first point is improvement toward pro scenarios. The scenarios of the enterprisers is improved by the following process. First, the method finds which storyline the enterpriser's scenario is similar to. The second, the method shows the enterprisers some example of the scenarios based on the similarity of the storylines. And the last, the method let the enterprisers improve their scenarios, comparing the given examples with their own scenarios and confirming the lack of expression in the scenarios. The second point, improving the scenarios by focusing on words. In this study, the scenario written by the business owner is defined as the target scenarios. Morphological analysis is used to attract nouns, verbs, adjective, and adverbs for each scene in the target scenarios. And the third point about documentation of actual experiences. In marketing, it is important to create scenarios for advertisement to get the empathy of readers. The book Save the Cat presents screenwriting techniques to create a scenario to make readers feel empathy. First, enterprisers are requested to select a storyline that matches their experience from the 10 storylines. The second, the enterprisers create a scenario to fit the content of the 15 scenes, the developments in the selected story. So the scene, words to be used for each scene are presented in the explanation of the scene development. For example, the first scene, which sets up the story, should state many places, times, and proper nouns relevant to the actual expressions. And the last, finding lack of expression in each scene. Logistic regression is used find the lack of expressions from the similarity between the target scenario and pro scenario. The logistic progressional is trained so that it may predict which of the four scenes the current one belongs to, using the number of appearance of synonym of the scene words. The next chapter is about words to describe scene development. First, the importance of words to describe a situation. The main characters' emotions are considered to be a major factor in the development of the scene. The enterprisers create a target scenario with a panoramic view of the actual experience. So the second point is meaning of the words in the story. The words selected as scene words must be checked in fast text to ensure that they have the appropriate meaning for the scenario. One of the ways to solve this problem is to actually create a corpus with many movie scripts and learn the model of the fast text. And the last, expand ability to other storylines. The scene words are considered to be present in every storyline. Therefore, for the other 9 storylines, the model for the scene classification can be created by selecting the scene words for each scene and counting its synonyms. So the next chapter is about approaches using other than scene words. The first point, factorization of words, the documents. The scenario is incomplete when the enterprises begins to write in their scenarios. To write the scenarios, the enterpriser should follow the scene development of the prose scenario for improving the enterpriser's scenario to be similar to the prose scenario. They should notice word by word to describe the characteristic of the scene of each scene in the prose scenarios. By dividing the scene into the parts, it is expected that the lack of expression can be found by the extensions of word use in the prose scenarios within the enterprise scenarios. And the second point, or the last point for this chapter, the similarity detection with negative positive analysis. An emotion polarity dictionary gives negative until positive scores to words, the movie, uh, and the user scenario. For each scene, in each scenario, the negative until positive scores of the words are summed up, and the average is divided by the number of words in the scene. The negative positive score of a scene is calculated by the following formula. Negative until positive of the scene. The average makes it possible to reduce the effects of differences in the number of words in each scene. If the number of words is large, the negative positive score may be biased, either positively negative. So, the last chapter is about conclusion. Based on the confusion of the scene words in each scene, the selection of appropriate scene words was important for classifying the scene. In the target scenario, scene words should be used to describe the characteristic of each scene. Since the content to be written in a scene is different each story development, the scene words are considered to be different depending on the story development. Therefore, the enterprisers should correctly select the storyline that corresponds to the experiences. By selecting a storyline that corresponds to the experience and using appropriate scene words, the enterprisers can create a scenario that will gain the reader's empathy. So that's all for my explanation today. Thank you so much for the attention. If you have a question for my presentation, you can ask me in LMS or in WA group. So before that, I say thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.